Liam stood at the entrance of the campus café, feeling a mixture of excitement and dread. It was a busy Friday afternoon, and many students gathered in groups, laughing and enjoying their drinks. The sound of cheerful conversations filled the air. As he watched from the doorway, Liam wished he could join in. His heart raced, and he felt alone, even in the crowd. It was a common situation for him. He often found it difficult to connect with others, especially in social settings like this. Liam felt as if there was an invisible wall separating him from the lively scene before him. He took a deep breath and stepped inside, trying his best to look confident. However, the moment he entered, a wave of social pressure washed over him. He noticed people glancing at him briefly before returning to their conversations. This made him feel as if everyone was judging him. Thick anxiety coiled around his stomach. The cheerful laughter of other students sounded less inviting and more intimidating. Questions raced through his mind. Would anyone talk to him? What if he said something awkward? Would he embarrass himself? This self-doubt only added to his feelings of isolation. Liam's palms became sweaty, and he wiped them on his jeans. He searched for a friendly face, hoping to find someone he could approach. It was hard to bear the thought of standing alone, lost in thought while everyone else seemed to be having a great time. The pressure to fit in made him feel uncomfortable. Liam wanted to run away but knew that he had to face this fear. Many people know this feeling, a sense of isolation even in a room full of people. This scenario touches everyone at some point in life. Whether it is at work gatherings, parties, or simply in a classroom, social struggles are common. We all experience moments when we feel like outsiders, wondering if we belong. It happens to students, professionals, and many others. No one is truly exempt from feeling awkward or shy at times. This situation is particularly relatable because it reflects human nature. Everyone desires connection and camaraderie. However, in a world full of social expectations, many feel lost in the crowd. This moment in Liam's life holds a mirror to all of us. It teaches us that the struggle to connect and to be understood is not rare. It is part of the human experience. By recognizing these feelings, Liam begins his journey toward developing better social skills. Understanding that he is not alone gives him hope. The desire to improve social interactions, to learn how to engage more meaningfully with others, is the first step. This story aims to help readers like Liam find ways to break the ice and meet new people, sealing the message that it is okay to feel anxious but important to reach out. As Liam stood in the doorway of the cafe, he felt the familiar wave of anxiety. He scanned the busy room, watching students chat and laugh. In that moment, he knew he was not alone in his struggle. Like many others, Liam faced difficulties in social situations. He wished he could easily walk up to someone and start a conversation, but his fear held him back. The noise of laughter seemed louder to him, drowning out his thoughts and making him feel smaller. In school, Liam had always been shy. He often sat alone in class, doodling in his notebook while students around him made friends. He could hear their conversations, but he found it hard to join in. The laughs of his classmates felt like a distant celebration. Often, he would pick up his phone to distract himself. Scrolling through social media, he saw friends sharing happy moments. It made him feel even more isolated. He questioned why it was so hard for him to connect with others. Today was a pivotal moment. Liam hoped to change things, but doubt clouded his mind. He squeezed his hands tightly together, trying to gather his thoughts. He imagined walking over to a group and introducing himself but quickly dismissed the thought. What if he embarrassed himself? What if he had nothing to say? These questions made his heart race faster. Then, he noticed a table with a few students who looked friendly. They were discussing a popular film with animated gestures and smiles. Liam felt a spark of inspiration. Perhaps this was his time to take action. He tried to approach them, but the fear crept back in. He felt frozen in place, trapped by the fear of rejection. It seemed easier to leave than to face the possibility of a misunderstanding or an awkward silence. Still standing by the entrance, Liam realized he needed to conquer his fear. He thought about how friendly faces always made him feel welcome. He longed to be part of that joy and connection. When he caught himself daydreaming about being bold and confident, he felt a flicker of hope. Maybe he could learn to break out of his shell. Small steps could make a big change. Every person is worth knowing, he thought, including him. With these thoughts in mind, Liam took a deep breath and decided to try once more. He reassured himself that many people likely experienced the same worries. Everyone has moments of doubt. The crowded cafe reflected human nature. An urge to belong, meet others, and create friendships. Suddenly, the most important lesson stood clear to him. Growth comes from facing challenges. In that moment, Liam stepped forward. There was a new energy inside him, a desire to struggle through the discomfort. What if this time was different? He could feel that small amount of confidence growing. It pushed him to take one small step toward the table he had eyed. Although the journey would be hard, each attempt would bring him closer to connection. Liam resolved to keep trying, knowing he had the power to shape his future. Taking the first step was essential. In nurturing hope, his path to friendship began. Taking a deep breath, Liam moved closer to the group at the table. He felt a rush of adrenaline, but it quickly faded to doubt. When he finally reached them, he heard laughter ring out, and the cheerful energy almost pulled him in. Gathering courage, he said, "Hi, I'm Liam." The words came out shaky, but at least he had spoken. The students turned slightly to look at him. One girl smiled, but the others didn't seem as welcoming. They nodded, acknowledging his presence, but then quickly returned to their conversation. Liam felt the heat rise to his cheeks. He stood there for a moment, unsure of what to do next. Should he say more or just leave? The small bit of confidence he had felt minutes ago now crumbled into embarrassment. After an awkward silence, Liam decided to ask about the movie they were discussing. "What did you think of the ending?" he asked, trying to sound casual. The girl looked surprised but leaned back slightly and shrugged. It was okay. The rest of the group carried on talking, ignoring him. At that moment, Liam felt small and invisible. His heart sank as he realized he had failed to engage them. Deflated, Liam took a step back. He felt the weight of all his fears pressing down on him again. Would he always be the one left out? Over the weeks that had passed, he tried reaching out at other gatherings as well. Each time ended in a similar way. Sometimes he struggled to find the right words, while other times, he simply could not figure out how to break into a conversation. No matter how much he wanted to join, every attempt felt like hitting a wall. In one awkward encounter at a friend's birthday party, he had tried to talk to another guest about sports. Liam didn't know much about them, but he attempted to sound interested. The conversation didn't flow. The other guests talked about their favorite teams, but Liam couldn't relate. He had felt his eyes glaze over, and soon after, the guest left him standing there with an uncomfortable smile. Alone again, he felt the sting of disappointment. This narrative of constant rejection filled Liam with doubt. Questions spun in his mind. Why was it so tough to connect with people? Was there something wrong with him? With each attempt, tension grew stronger. Each time he left a gathering feeling lonely, it made him wonder if he would ever find his place. But deep down, the fire of hope flickered within him. A little voice whispered that it was important to learn from these struggles. Maybe each failure was not the end but a step toward success. Liam wanted to believe that the walls he felt around him could be broken down. He recalled the lesson about growth coming from challenges. Could he find a way to turn his experience around? As Liam left the cafe that day, he still felt unsettled. It was not just his failure weighing heavily on him. It was the feeling of isolation, compounded by the desire to belong. It was essential for him to remember that these struggles were part of a larger journey. Each time he stepped back, he would find more strength to try again. With newfound courage, he resolved to ask for help and learn how to connect better. This was no easy road, but he was determined to overcome the obstacles ahead. One rainy evening, Liam sat alone in his room, staring out at the falling rain. The soft sound created a quiet space in which he could think. He wanted to understand why making friends felt so hard. His mind was full of thoughts about the cafe and the events that had passed. Even with all his efforts, each attempt to connect with others left him feeling sad and disconnected. Deep inside, he recognized that something needed to change. As he took a moment to reflect, a memory of his English teacher popped into his head. Mr. Stevens had always encouraged the class to seek help when needed. He often said, "Asking for help shows strength." Liam remembered how Mr. Stevens had shared his own challenges in learning new things. He admired his teacher's honesty. This thought sparked a light in Liam, illuminating the shadows of doubt he had carried for so long. Suddenly, he felt motivated. Liam realized he could no longer sit back and hope for things to get better on their own. He needed to take action. If he wanted to connect with people, he had to learn how. But this would not be an easy task. The road to change was often filled with uncomfortable feelings and choices. It was time for him to actively change his approach, and that began with talking to Mr. Stevens. The next day at school, Liam approached his teacher after class. His heart raced, but he knew he had to try. "Mr. Stevens," he began, nervously rubbing his hands together. "Can I ask for some help? I have trouble making friends." The words came out before he could second-guess himself. Mr. Stevens looked up, his eyes warm and understanding. "Of course, Liam. I'm glad you came to me," he said with a kind smile. They sat together on a bench outside, finding a quiet spot amidst the bustling students. Mr. Stevens listened attentively as Liam shared his experiences and feelings of frustration. As Liam spoke, he started to feel a weight lifting from his shoulders. He wasn't alone in this struggle. He had shared his challenges with someone who cared. Mr. Stevens nodded, displaying a deep understanding of Liam's journey. "Making friends can be hard for many people," he replied gently. "It takes practice, just like learning a new skill. You need to start small. Set a goal to speak to one new person each week. Take it step by step." Liam listened, feeling encouraged. This was a plan he could actually follow. Mr. Stevens continued, "Think of it like building a bridge. Each conversation is a step closer to creating connections." Liam felt inspired by this advice. The idea of small steps made the task seem less daunting. He understood that it was okay to mess up along the way. The point was to keep trying and learning. The self-reflection sparked by his teacher's support felt rewarding. At that moment, he committed to taking action toward improving his social skills. As the school day ended, Liam left feeling lighter. For the first time in weeks, he felt a wave of optimism wash over him. He could see a new path ahead, guiding him through the challenges that awaited. The decision to change brought with it a sense of power and hope. The turning point had come, and Liam was ready to embrace the journey ahead, armed with the knowledge that every effort was a step toward success. With determination in his heart, Liam arrived at school the next day, ready to put Mr. Stevens' advice into action. He decided that today would be the day he tried to connect with others. As he walked through the hallway, he felt both nervous and excited. His first goal was simple. He wanted to practice starting small conversations. Liam took a deep breath and reminded himself to take it one step at a time. When he reached his locker, he noticed Sarah, a classmate he often saw but never spoke to. She was trying to open her locker, but it seemed stuck. Gathering his courage, he approached her. "Need help?" he asked, his voice a little shaky but clear. Surprised, Sarah looked up and smiled. "Yes, please," she replied, grateful for the assistance. Liam felt a rush of happiness. This small moment was a breakthrough for him. As they worked together to open the locker, they began to talk. Liam asked her about her favorite subjects in school, and to his delight, Sarah opened up. She shared her love for art and mentioned her recent project. Liam realized that asking about her interests made the conversation easier. He remembered to listen carefully, nodding and making eye contact, which made Sarah feel valued. After a few minutes, they managed to get the locker open. Sarah laughed with relief. "Thank you so much, Liam. I always struggle with this." Her friendly reaction filled Liam with joy. This simple interaction gave him confidence that he could connect with others. He left the locker area, feeling proud of himself. Throughout the day, Liam made it a point to engage with more classmates. In history class, he started talking to Mike, who sat next to him. Liam asked Mike about the recent homework. At first, he felt nervous, but he remembered to focus on listening and showing interest in what Mike had to say. As the two talked about their projects, Liam felt the conversation flow more naturally. By the end of class, they were even planning to meet up to study together. Later during lunch, he spotted Emily at a table. Remembering to use what he had practiced, Liam walked over and said, "Hi, Emily. How was your weekend?" She looked up, surprised, and started to share about a movie she had seen. This time, Liam felt relaxed. He listened, engaged, and asked questions, allowing the conversation to deepen. Emily seemed pleased to talk with him, and that made Liam feel fulfilled. As the day went on, Liam noticed a change in himself. Each small action to talk, listen, and connect felt powerful. He was breaking through the barriers that had held him back. These experiences opened his eyes to the fact that building relationships did not require grand gestures. Instead, it was about the small and sincere conversations he had with others. Finally, on his way home, Liam couldn't help but smile. He realized that he had taken the first step on a new path toward improving his social skills. Practicing small talk and listening had changed his perspective. Each interaction felt like a stepping stone toward greater confidence. He had shown himself that he could connect with others and truly enjoy the friendships that awaited him. This journey had just begun, but Liam felt ready to embrace each new opportunity that came his way. Following action. In the weeks that followed, Liam continued to practice the social skills he had learned. Each day felt like a new chance to connect with others. He made a promise to himself to challenge his old habits and embrace new ones. He started by saying hello to people he passed in the hallway. With every smile and wave, he felt more confident. At lunch, Liam began sitting with different groups. He would share stories about his day or ask others about their plans for the weekend. Each small interaction built on the last. Before, these conversations felt daunting, but now they became lighter and more enjoyable. He noticed his classmates relaxing around him as he made an effort to reach out. The small talks became genuine moments of connection. One day, during a science project, Liam paired up with Jess. They had never really talked before. While they worked together, Liam shared funny stories from past projects. Jess laughed and opened up about her interests. Their shared conversations turned the project into a more enjoyable experience. Liam realized that this was what it felt like to share genuine moments with someone. Slowly, he developed a friendship with Jess, and that made him feel proud. As time passed, Liam started reflecting on his journey. He realized how far he had come. Thoughts of doubt still crept in at times, but he quickly pushed them aside. He learned to celebrate even the smallest victories. When he made a new friend or successfully chatted with a classmate, he felt a rush of joy. Each interaction reinforced his belief that he could change his social life for the better. Liam also began listening more intently during conversations. He watched how his friends reacted to what was said. Noticing how important it was to make eye contact and smile, he practiced these skills without thinking. Felt natural now. Friends appreciated his attention, and the helpers of connection grew. With this growth, he experienced a sense of fulfillment each day. At the end of the month, Liam attended a school event where students gathered for games and activities. The once intimidating atmosphere felt welcoming now. As he moved through the crowd, he greeted classmates he'd gotten to know. Each conversation felt richer, more authentic than before. He even joined a game of volleyball, laughing and cheering with his peers. It was a significant moment. Liam had transformed his approach, and he felt himself stepping into the vibrant life he had always dreamed of. While enjoying time with new friends, Liam paused to reflect. "This is who I am," he thought to himself. The feelings of isolation had started to disappear, replaced by warmth and connection. He learned that social skills were not just about talking. They were about sharing moments and being present. Building authentic relationships required some effort, but the rewards were worth it. This journey filled him with hope. It showed him that progress could come from taking action and believing in oneself. With every conversation, he knew he was becoming a better version of himself. Liam felt grateful for his experiences and decided to continue growing. He understood that this journey was ongoing, filled with opportunities to learn and connect. Embracing social connections gave him control and power over his emotions and mindset, and he couldn't wait to see where his efforts would lead him next. As time passed, Liam noticed something important happening within himself. He was no longer the quiet student standing in the corner, afraid to speak up. With each new interaction, he gained confidence in his social skills. One day, however, he faced a different type of challenge. In his group project, he discovered that one member, Tony, spoke to others unkindly. Tony would interrupt people and belittle their ideas, making the group feel uncomfortable. Liam remembered how important it was to stand up against negativity. He believed that everyone deserved respect and kindness in conversations. He saw the effects Tony's words had on his classmates. They seemed more withdrawn each time a comment was made. Liam recognized that this behavior would not stop on its own. Something needed to change, and he knew he had the power to help. After some thought, Liam decided to address the situation directly. It was not easy for him, but he felt the need to set clear boundaries. The next time they met, Liam took a deep breath and spoke up. "Tony," he said firmly, "when you interrupt others, it makes people feel bad. We should respect each other's ideas and listen." The room fell silent. Some students exchanged glances, surprised that Liam had spoken up. At first, Tony appeared taken aback. His eyes widened and he looked defensive. "You're too sensitive," he snapped back. Liam's heart raced, but he stayed strong. He focused on the issue, not on Tony's reaction. "I'm just saying that we can talk better as a team if everyone is heard," Liam replied, feeling braver with each word. He could see other students nodding slightly, their agreement comforting him. The reaction from the group was mixed. Some classmates seemed pleased that Liam had spoken out. They showed silent support with smiles and affirmations. Others, however, hesitated. A few of them looked worried about angering Tony, while one even whispered to another, questioning Liam's decision to confront him. It was clear that not everyone would welcome change with open arms. Liam sensed the tension in the air but chose not to abandon his boundaries. He felt that this was his moment to set an example of respectful communication. Constructively standing against bullying fueled his sense of purpose. He wanted to help create a safer space for ideas to flourish. With small steps, he was determined to help the group shift toward a more supportive atmosphere. Despite feeling anxiety about Tony's possible reactions, Liam discovered another truth. He realized how important it was to speak up not only for himself but also for others. Part of growing in social skills meant learning to address conflicts head-on. He could not sink back into fear and silence. Instead, he starred in his journey of transformation. As the class continued working on the project, Liam felt a wave of change wash over him. He took note of how the atmosphere shifted after his statement. More people began to contribute, and the comments became friendlier and more collaborative. Even Tony, after a few more group discussions, seemed to loosen up slightly. Liam saw that setting boundaries opened doors not only for himself but for everyone. With this clarity of purpose and discipline inside, he appreciated how meaningful progress could be achieved quickly when individuals stood together. After a few weeks of standing up for himself and others, Liam felt a significant change take place within him. The tension in the project group seemed to ease. People began to communicate more openly, inspired by his example. Liam was proud to see the group's dynamics shift toward a more positive atmosphere. That day, as they worked diligently, something unexpected happened. The teacher announced a big presentation that would count for a major part of their grade. The team had to work together, focusing on cooperation and respect, to succeed. Liam felt that this was his moment to shine, but he also felt a ripple of nerves. "We need to be clear and organized," he suggested during their meeting. "Let's divide the parts of the presentation into sections so we can each contribute." The group nodded in agreement, and Liam felt excited yet anxious. As they began to draft their presentation, tensions arose in the group once more. Tony, still unsettled by Liam's earlier confrontation, tried to overshadow Liam's input. "That is a boring idea," he remarked loudly. The compliment was snatched away just as Liam was about to describe his section. Further uneasy whispers filled the air. Liam could feel his heart racing, but it was different this time. A sense of calm landed inside him. He knew he had a choice. Instead of retreating as he might have done in the past, Liam took a deep breath and replied, "That may be true, Tony, but I believe my ideas can contribute if we include them in a way that works for everyone." He held his ground, and something beautiful happened. One of his classmates, Maya, who had quietly observed the dynamic, unexpectedly spoke up. "I think Liam's idea is needed. It brings diversity to our topic," she said, supporting him. Liam felt a warmth spread in his chest. It was a small moment, but it meant everything. Maya's support inspired others. Slowly, the other classmates began to voice agreement, willing to help Liam make his idea part of the presentation. They echoed Maya's support and acknowledged that Liam's thoughts added value. This newfound support reinforced Liam's confidence. The team became involved in collaborating. They worked late into the evening, fine-tuning details and creating slides. Together, they focused on delivering the best presentation possible, and Liam felt like a crucial member of the group. In those moments, Liam recognized how far he had come. He stood up for his ideas, and by doing so, he gained respect from his teammates. This small win solidified his growth. He had faced difficulties but continued to approach each challenge with courage. Liam realized that building positive relationships takes time and practice. He also learned the importance of surrounding himself with supportive people. The process wasn't just about speaking up. It was about creating an environment where everyone felt their ideas mattered. As they wrapped up the project, a sense of peace washed over Liam. He not only felt accomplished with the presentation but also felt proud of their teamwork. He understood that when challenges arise, he could face them head-on, stand up for what he believed, and find allies along the way. This sense of victory wouldn't just stay with the group. It would follow Liam into future interactions. He felt confident that he could maintain his mindset and continue to grow. The journey was only beginning, but he now knew he had the strength and skill to shape his own path. Resolution. As the school year came to an end, Liam reflected on his journey and felt a deep sense of empowerment. The struggle he once faced in social situations had transformed into a source of strength. He now approached friendships and interactions with more confidence than ever before. The improvements in his social skills had fostered deeper connections with classmates and friends. Each laugh shared and conversation exchanged created a bond that used to feel out of reach. Liam noticed how relationships not only became easier but also more meaningful. He started to look forward to team projects and social gatherings instead of feeling anxious. The change had ignited a desire within him to connect with others and make new friends. He often found himself chatting with classmates between classes, sharing ideas, and uplifting his peers. They noticed his growth too. Support and enthusiasm surrounded him, and he could sense the warmth in their interactions. At work, Liam's newfound confidence added another layer to his life. He had the courage to contribute ideas in meetings, offering thought-provoking insights into projects. His colleagues started seeking his opinion on tasks. This was a drastic shift from the quiet worker at a distance. He felt valued and appreciated. His manager praised his contributions regularly, and this positive feedback helped further boost his self-esteem. Liam also began mentoring newer team members, using his experiences to inspire them. He understood the journeys they faced and was willing to help. He shared his tips on opening conversations and navigating social settings. In doing so, he felt a sense of purpose. By helping others, he reinforced his skills and deepened his own connection to the workplace. Through these experiences, the lessons he learned became second nature. Liam recognized that successful interactions were built on simple principles like kindness, presence, and listening. He embraced these ideas confidently, reminding himself daily of the importance of human connection. He created an environment around him where communication thrived, both in work and in friendships. Liam indulged in new friendships that blossomed over shared interests, such as volunteering for local community projects. Many of his classmates joined, deepening their bonds even further. He had equipped himself with the tools needed to form authentic connections, creating joyful experiences with people who genuinely valued him. At the end of the school year, the sense of achievement washed over him. The shy, reserved boy who once felt lost in crowds had transformed into a confident young man, ready to embrace life's opportunities. Social interactions no longer felt like challenges. They were stepping stones leading to friendships and enriching experiences. As he moved forward, Liam understood that personal growth was a continuous journey. He recognized how his mindset could shape his relationships. This uplifted sense of self-empowerment stayed with him, enabling him to approach each day with purpose and a positive outlook. The world around him felt larger than ever, filled with chances to learn and connect. He looked ahead with hope, knowing that the value of social skills was not just in gaining new friends, but in forging deeper, supportive relationships. Liam had learned the power to transform his life, one meaningful connection at a time, and he was excited about where this adventure would lead him next. As summer approached, Liam found himself contemplating the future with excitement. His journey of growth had opened many doors. With each day, he became more aware of his potential. The skills he had developed over the school year equipped him to face new challenges head-on. Equipped with fresh confidence, Liam set new goals for himself as he prepared to take the next step in his life. One sunny afternoon, while searching online, Liam found an internship opportunity at a local nonprofit organization. The job would allow him to work closely with the community, helping others while developing necessary skills in communication and teamwork. He remembered the struggles he had faced in social situations and realized just how far he had come. This was a chance to embrace a role that would enable him to help others. Feeling the urge to apply, Liam quickly gathered his materials. He crafted his resume with care, highlighting his strengths, newfound experiences, and the social skills he had honed over the last year. He felt proud as he completed each section. His past struggles fueled his determination to push forward. With encouragement from teachers and friends, he submitted his application. Liam practiced for the interview, focusing on how he would communicate his ideas clearly. In his mind, he pictured the positive outcome he wanted. Week by week, he developed healthy practices to stay calm and focused. He meditated and engaged in breathing exercises to keep anxiety at bay as the days drew closer to the decision. A few weeks later, as Liam spent the afternoon enjoying time with friends, his phone buzzed with an incoming email. With his heart racing, he opened the message. He had been accepted for the internship. Elation flooded through him as he shared the good news with his friends. Their joyful cheers echoed in the air, and Liam felt a rush of gratitude for their support. This was more than just an internship. It symbolized how far he had come. In the weeks that followed, Liam embraced his new role with excitement. Each day, he engaged with different community members, using the skills he had developed. He boldly initiated conversations and listened actively to stories. With every interaction, he continued to grow emotionally and socially. He recognized the value of connecting with others in profound ways. As summer turned to autumn, Liam noticed changes in himself and his relationships. He felt at peace and confident navigating unfamiliar situations. Mistakes no longer seemed frightening but rather valuable learning opportunities. His new mindset had empowered not only his work life but his personal life as well. Friends commented on how much he had transformed, often praising him for his warmth and ability to engage deeply with people. Looking ahead, Liam set goals to continue his personal growth. He created a plan to learn more about community services and ways to further engage with others. He wanted to mentor younger students, sharing his experience and knowledge with those who might feel lost, just as he once did. The road ahead was bright and full of promise. As he looked toward the future, Liam embraced every challenge with hope and determination. His journey didn't end with one internship. It was just beginning. He now understood that the power to shape his life lay within him. With the right mindset, connections could blossom no matter the setting. The possibilities unfolded like an endless horizon, inviting him to inspire and be inspired, proving that self-improvement is a continuous and fulfilling journey.